Check, check, check. See how we sounding out there in YouTube land. Check, check, check. What's going on with you guys today around here, around these parts? Get over here and do this. Today I want to talk about Walter Wallace. Yes, indeed, Walter Wallace. Let me share this with a few people. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube, but we back. You like the digs? You know, you like the digs? Got the city of Houston behind me, lights on, lights off. Flashy little background. Oh yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started here very, very shortly. Very shortly. Yeah, this happened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play a little bit of video, little commentary, see if we could get our own feel of what's going on. There are now protests happening in Philadelphia literally as we speak. Protests, rioting, they've showed looting, the things that happen after certain things happen. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening, night, at least marginal at worst. Go ahead and get into this. So yeah, you guys, I'm going to be bringing some things onto the screen. I'm going to be attempting to walk while I talk. All right, so we're going to start right here. No, we're not starting right there. See, I already fell trying to walk and talk, but we're going to get a picture up here of Walter Wallace. So this is Walter Wallace, 27 years old, Philadelphia. All right, so we're going to start talking about it. We're going to paint the picture. We're not going to paint the picture. We're actually going to look and see what happened, and we're not going to let people paint the picture for us. So we're going to take and sit that right here. If you're coming in for the first time, if you just now here getting with the program, hit the like button. Make sure that you're subscribed. Tell a friend or 10. Today I'm sipping a little bit of, what is this? Chablis. No, some Sauvignon Blanc. So yeah, this Philadelphia, and right now is a strange time for this. Well, it's always a strange time. It's always a bad time when somebody loses their life. But I'm also going to get into what the ramifications may be for the coming up election. What will the ramifications be? Look, politically, it is going to affect somebody, I think. But is it going to be the people that you think is going to be affected? So I want to get into that. Want to get into all that. I'm over here working with the screen. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've been on YouTube. What's up out there in the YouTube streets? If anybody is out there, holla if you hear me. Well, I won't hear you if you holla. But hit the like, something like that, before we go ahead and get into it. And before we start, I am going to actually show the it's not the body cam footage. There was a witness there that was filming the whole thing. So we're going to get into that, and we're going to, like I said, we're going to see what we see, hear what we hear, because a lot of times in these situations, it seems as if we only get one part and not all of it, or, everybody has an agenda. So, with no agenda here, we're just going to sit here and comb through it. It's 3 people on here. Woohoo! Celebration throughout the nation was popping. So, yeah, we're about to go ahead and get into it. Like I said, let me go ahead and take this off the screen. I'm going to try to walk and talk at the same time. All right. So we're going to come over here. We're going to take that off the screen. And what we're going to start with the actual shooting of Walter Wallace. So what I'm going to do with myself, let me make myself small over here. Woo! There we go. There we go. There we go. I'm over here. Now I'm downtown. But I'm still here. So we're going to go to the shooting, actually. and we're gonna comb through it. All right. So let's watch this.
Yo, this shit is crazy out here.
All right, right there, first gunshot, and we can look at the feet. Look like the police are backpedaling at this point, and Walter is walking toward the police officers, and that's just what I'm getting right now. So we're gonna look at it a little more. We'll look at this a few times. Let's see.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my!
And see, I read earlier that that's his mother, the lady that was right there, in between the police officers and her son. And, something like that will stick with you forever. That's not the type of thing that you forget. See, right there running into the street is his mother, all right?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Bro, they just killed them in front of me. Yo. Yo. Y'all ain't had to give him that many fucking shots. Y'all ain't had to give him that many shots. Yo, what the fuck? Yo.
And when I watch these, I always look and I try to I like to listen to what the bystanders are saying, what the people near are saying. And in this particular instance, one of the things that was said toward the end is something that is a sentiment that I agreed with. Why did you give him so many shots? So many shots. If I'm not mistaken, it was 14 shots. But again, you guys, we're going to dig into this a little further. We're not going to stop right there. But I am going to play that again. I am going to actually play that again because not to desensitize people, but to let you hear and see the things surrounding the shooting, okay? And so we're going to break that down a little bit as we go through it for a second.
Yo, this shit is crazy out here.
All right. So right off the jump, whoever this guy is, he's like, yo, this shit is crazy out here. All right. So apparently there was some type of scene for him to say that it was crazy out here. All right. Let's go through it some more. All right. Right there, you got a police officer. His gun is drawn. And if you look, let's see. Let's go back just a second. Let's go back just a taste. It's just a taste. All right. See, you hear him right there saying, put the knife down. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's a police officer saying, put the knife down. I'm not sure if that's one of the witnesses. The way it sounds as if it's the police officer saying, put your knife down. All right. See, he starts backing up. Now the other guy comes backing up. The other officer's backing up. Okay, so he's definitely walking toward him. If you look at this police officer's feet right here, if you look at his feet, let me see if I get to his feet. Where his feet at? Where are your feet? Right there. If you get to his feet, he's backpedaling. In fact, one of his feet are in the air. All right. So he's backpedaling as Walter comes toward him. Now, I'm hearing different reports. Some people say he's running towards him. Some people say he's pacing toward him. Some people say he's walking towards him briskly. I would give it the brisk walk definition. I would say that he's giving him a brisk walk. He's not running toward him, but they are backpedaling. So I'm going to back it up, and we're going to play a little more. Now, there was obviously more than one gun shooting. There was more than one gun releasing fire. Those were multiple guns. And since there's two officers and two police officers pointing guns, then I think it is safe to assume that the police officers shot all of the shots. All right? So let's look at that.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Bro, they just killed him front of me, fool.
Yo. Yeah, now something like that could be devastating to the people who are watching, and sometimes I wonder if we look at that effect, not just the effect that it has even on the family who unfortunately had to see that, but the people surrounding it, the people watching, the bystanders, the people who are there watching all of this. Okay, so now we saw what happened. We saw what happened, but now we could get a little bit of context. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play what the news is saying. You know, I don't mean like national news, but we're going to look at some local news, and we're going to see what's happening on the local news, and we're going to start from there, and then we're going to move forward. I have the family attorney speaking, giving the family side too. So we're going to break down that also, just so we could get some context up in this thing in here tonight. All right, we're going to get a little bit of context, you know, and again, right now at this point in time, there are protests, riots, and looting popping off in Pennsylvania, and over what we saw just now, okay? So we're going to look through this, and we're going to see, you know, what makes sense, what don't, what's going on. And again, that's a picture of Walter Wallace right there, a young man, all right? So let me get back over here, and we're going to do it like this. All right. So now I'm going to see what the local news had to say. See what we can find over here. What kind of clips I got in preparation. Proper preparation. All right. So let's go over here, and we're going to look at this a little bit. We always want to see what spin that they putting on it.
This cell phone video capturing a chaotic scene in West Philadelphia. A man who officers say was armed with a knife is shot multiple times by police and later pronounced dead at the hospital. That shooting sparked protests and then violence and looting across the city. Several officers were sent to the hospital after they were hit by bricks. A female officer was hit by a pickup truck even. News 4's Riviera has more.
Violent protests, dozens of arrests, and 30 officers injured after police shot and killed a man armed with a knife Monday.
Watch the wheel.
A witness captured that confrontation on cell phone video. NBC News cannot verify what occurred before or after the events shown in the video. Police say when they arrived, they found a man, later identified as 27-year-old Walter Wallace, acting erratically and waving a knife. In the video, you can hear an officer yelling for Wallace to put the knife down as he moves toward them before the officers open fire, killing Wallace.
I have directed the officer-involved shooting investigation unit to begin its investigation. There are many questions that demand answers.
The incident sparking protests and looting overnight, leading to nearly 100 arrests.
This don't make no sense. You know, if you...
Wait, now, there's something that I want to say. I think she says that there's a lot to be looked into or something like that. I'm going to rewind that a little bit, because with the I think she's the chief, what she says, it's a little bit of breaking that down, you know what I'm saying? It ain't always what it seems to be, because she's not exactly saying what it is that needs to be investigated. You know, I like specifics. I don't really like these blanket statements.
When they arrived, they found a man, later identified as 27-year-old Walter Wallace, acting erratically and waving a knife. In the video, you can hear an officer yelling for Wallace to put the knife down as he moves toward...
Okay, right here they say that the officer yelled to put the knife down as well. So this is what this report is saying. All right, let's listen to some more.
...toward them before the officers opened fire, killing Wallace.
I have directed the officer-involved shooting investigation unit to begin its investigation. There are many questions that demand answers.
There are many questions that demand answers. And so we're going to listen to see if she later says what those questions are that are in demand of answers. And, you know, we're just trying to take a sober look at this. And, you know, I'm drinking wine, so yes, I'm sober. But when I say a sober look, that's not what I mean. I mean you're not going to take an emotional path to this. And wrong is wrong. Whatever is wrong is definitely, it needs to be spoken on, it needs to be acted upon, and it needs to be fixed. And I just want to make sure that we comb through this the best way that we can, just so we know what's going on. So often these narratives are shaped, and we really don't get a chance to, or we don't take the time to comb through it fully ourselves. So let's listen to some more.
The incident sparking protests and looting overnight, leading to nearly 100 arrests.
This don't make no sense. You know, if you want to go out there and demonstrate. But when you're tearing up your neighborhood, that's not cool, you know what I'm saying?
Dozens of officers were hurt.
We have multiple officers down. Use force responding.
Another officer is hospitalized after being struck by a pickup truck.
We anticipate the chance of additional incidents of civil unrest. And as such, we will be taking additional steps to ensure order.
Philadelphia.
Taking additional steps to ensure order, which means they will be arresting your ass if you are out there doing too much. And you know who the president is currently. You know he don't mind involving the military in matters like this. And so based on her rhetoric and what she's saying, and just based on the past of the administration who is now in power, this can become, you know, a real situation here. It can become a real situation.
Bracing for the potential of more violence as the investigation into the shooting continues. Ray Vieta, News 4, New York.
All right, and so that's what's going on in New York. Well, that's the reporting from New York, and I like to go and I like to get local news so you can see what's going on, and so you can get a taste of it without the commentary and the spin. Without the spin. See, I'm gonna give you some commentary, but I'm not gonna give you no spin. I'm gonna give you the straight dope. You know what I'm saying? So here again, we're gonna go over here and I'm gonna put up a picture of who we are talking about, just in case you forget. All right, this is Walter Wallace, Pennsylvania man, shot dead in front of his mama, y'all, in front of his mama. And we watched it earlier. We watched it. You know what? If you're just now coming in, I'm going to show it again so we can see the actual shooting. I want to tie this all in so you would know exactly why people are out there protesting, rioting, and looting. Now, I'm not saying that all those things are happening because of this. You know, sometimes looting happen because, you know, well-adjusted people with bank accounts, you know, with $100,000 and up or doing good, they normally don't go out and loot. You dig? So I think the looting is always a byproduct of poverty. It's just a byproduct of poverty. And, you know, poor people don't only loot. Rich people loot too. They do it in suits. They steal your 401k. Stuff like that. But let's watch this again real fast.
Yo, this shit is crazy out here.
All right, see. So like I said, I got to be honest about it. The cop right here, he's backing up. Let me back it up just a little bit. Got a few new people in here. How you guys doing?
Yo, this shit is crazy out here.
Man, and that's the part that killed me. They shot him 14 times. He had a knife. He didn't have an atomic bomb. 14 times. And so, you know, so right now, that is my main discrepancy with it. And I'll be honest with you, anytime you walk up to the police and you have a weapon, they're going to shoot. But I do think there's something wrong. Something wrong with they're telling people to move. They knew they was about to shoot him. They were saying move. They were telling the people in the street. They said move. It was, as if, you know what, move, because he's going to keep coming at us, and if he keep coming at us, we're going to shoot him. And I'll be honest with you, in that case, I would expect him to shoot. I would expect them to shoot. That's what the police are going to do. I mean, just the truth of the matter is, anytime you run up on the police and you have a weapon, they are going to worry about getting home. But again, I do think that amount of shots was excessive. 14 shots, all right? And so now that we've looked through it, we heard what the local news had to say about it. Now we're going to listen to Walter Wallace's their family lawyer. And he says some things that are very pertinent to the situation that might give a little bit of clarity and stop some of the rumors and things that you may hear going on from here. So we're gonna tap in with him and see what he got to say. See what he got to say over here.
My name is Kevin O'Brien, and this is Shaka Johnson. I'm the attorney for the family. Family would like a little bit of time without the media or anybody else around to get themselves together. We would like to invite some of you back at 8 o'clock tonight, where the family will be made available, along with myself and Mr. Johnson, for an interview. I will give each of you my business card, and Mr. Johnson's business card. We'll be able to make a statement at that time. Thank you very much. I'm not going to hand out 30 cards, but I will give the number out right now. 215-285-4330. That's my contact number, 215-285-4330. The only thing I ask this evening is that, as opposed to just peppering the family with questions, you sort of allow them to tell their narrative. For the past 24 hours, things have been skewed one way, and I did make a promise to them that I intend to keep, and that is to allow them to be heard and allow them to voice sort of some of their concerns about how the narrative has been shaped in the last one day. If that's okay with you guys. Is there anything preliminary that you can share with us, since we don't have some deadlines coming up here? Absolutely. What specifically would you like to know? Well, give us your position on what you've seen that video. I mean, my position should be clear that was an unjustified shooting. I think you saw it as well. We all saw it. It's an unjustified shooting. We have a person who has mental health issues. We're going to vet those out as the process continues.
Okay, the lawyer says that he has mental health issues. I know the volume is a little bit low, and so if you can't hear it clearly, what I'll do is I'll just try to reiterate the things that he says that are important. But right here, he is saying that he has some mental health issues, and I think that is very important in these cases. Is that fact? Because are we treating people? Are we not weighing all the circumstances when we come to these conclusions or when we watch these things? Because I'm seeing a divide. I'm seeing some people say, well, he ran at the cops, that's what's going to happen. But there's sometimes is a caveat. And mental illness, in my opinion, is always a caveat that deserves pause. Because if a person has mental illness, they may not literally be in their right mind. And I think that is something that we have to be cognizant of when we're talking about this. And so, you know what? I'm going to get back and I'm going to play a little bit more because I think that is very, very important. So let me get back over here to the lawyer. Mr. Lawyer. All right. Let me see if I could adjust the volume just a little bit for you guys real quick. See if I could do what it do. How it do over there. All right. So let me see. All right. So let me get back over here and let me hit play back on the lawyer.
But we have officers who I think are not properly trained to deal with those mental health issues. And we have, I'm looking for the special interest groups. Where are they? They come out for all the other acronyms. I'm not certain where they are in this particular moment. I'm not sure if we're talking about just bipolar or manic depressive, or if we're talking about some pinch of autism. I'm not sure. I'm no clinician. But I do know the gentleman was on a regimen of lithium, and that says to me that he was... Okay, so he's saying that he doesn't know exactly what the mental disorder is that Walter Wallace has, but he says that he's on a regimen of lithium. Okay? In the doctor's care. And that says to me that officers who are trained in visible ink properly should notice certain things when they arrive at a scene. Okay, and so he's saying that being that he is on a steady regimen of lithium, he's saying that officers that are trained, he said in invisible ink, officers that are trained should be able to recognize certain things when they arrive on the scene. And I like this guy. I know the sound is a little bit low. If you guys want to turn your sound up to where you can hear it, cool. If you can't, here, let me see. I'll try one more thing, see if I can do something with the sound. Hold my cup. Let me get over here, all right? And so, yeah, I actually like this guy. I like this guy. Especially when you have his wife tells you, stand down, officers. He's manic. He's bipolar. I have issues with this entire case. I won't preach you a sermon, but I invite.
Okay, they said that his wife was there telling to officers to stand down, that he is manic. All right, I think that is very important because when we're talking about these things, again, some things kind of get lost in the minutia. And in this situation, we've heard a lot about his mother being in the street trying to block him and come in between him and the police. But the officer, the lawyer right here, he makes it very clear. Very clear. He says that the wife told the police officers that he was manic. All right, so that means that his wife was also there. So we have his wife and we have his mother so far.
Stand down, officers. He's manic. He's bipolar. I have issues with this entire case. I won't preach you a sermon, but I invite you back this evening at 8 p.m. to hear what the family has to say, because I think that's going to be a lot more support. The woman at the scene that we saw.
Okay, a reporter just asked who was that on the scene in here, and I'll truncate it a little bit. He's saying who was the lady that we saw on the scene in the now viral video that was trying to stop the officer, and again come in between the officer and her son, and again that was the mother. So I'm just going to truncate that a little bit. I know it's hard to hear.
That is now in the video that's going viral. As Mr. O'Brien said, that's his mother. But let's be clear, his wife, who is pregnant with his child at the very moment, was there as well. So the scars will run deep through the Wallace family for decades.
Okay, and he says yes, but let's be clear. His wife, who is pregnant, was there also, all right? And he's saying that those scars are going to run deep.
Before the shooting, how many times did the police come to this house because of the mental health issues that Mr. Wallace is having?
I don't have that answer, and I can appreciate the question.
The question was, before the shooting, how many times have the police came over, on calls to Mr. Wallace? And the lawyer says, I don't know the answer to that. That's something I don't know. And he said, I appreciate the question.
I don't have that answer, but let's say the number was 0. I know that on yesterday they were told he has mental health.
And he said, let's say the number is 0. I was told that yesterday the officers were told that he had a mental health issue. So what he's doing right there, I think, is beautiful. He's taking away all the excuses that somebody may try to ask. He's saying, I don't care if it was 100. I don't care if it was 1,000. I don't care if it was 0. Yesterday, these officers knew because his wife told them that he had a mental health problem, all right?
No, sir. No, sir. I need you to keep up. What I said was his.
And see right there, somebody in the media said, so you said the mother said that he was manic? He said, no, sir. I need you to keep up. I said that his wife said that he was manic. I need you to keep up. I like this guy right here. I like him.
What I said was his wife told them that he was manic and bipolar. That when the officers were standing at the foot of these steps. Okay?
And we should know, too, the police were not called. Originally, the phone call that was made to the city of Philadelphia was for an ambulance.
Okay, now that is something that I think is vital and very important because you're going to hear a lot of conversation, but it's important that you have the facts, all right? Or the facts that are being given to us by these people, right? By the lawyers at this point in time. The lawyer said, this guy right here, he says that the police were never called. The police were never called. The family called an ambulance, all right? So one more time, the police was never called because you're going to hear people say, well, the police, you call the police and this is, and what do you? They never called the police according to this lawyer right here. His name is, I think his last name is Shabazz Johnson, or it's something of the nature. He's going to give it at the end. But I think his presentation is wonderful. I think the way that he is taking away excuses before they're given or formulated is wonderful. But I do think that that is a very important point, is the simple fact that they did not, you guys hear me? Let's say this together. They did not call the police. They called an ambulance. That will be a bone of contention in some of your Facebook conversations when people are making reasons and this, that, the third. They're going to say, well, you called the police. They called the police. He was doing something wrong. Well, right here, they're saying that they did not call the police. And if you want to find this, I like to source everything. I found this on YouTube, and it's in the corner. It says PBS News Hour. So you can put up Walter Wallace, family lawyer, PBS News Hour. It'll pop up for you right there on the tubes, on the YouTubes, and you can use it yourself, listen to it, break it down the way that you want to break it down. But I do want to make sure that I source where I got this, just so you know, like I know, that we know. Hey, I ain't make it up.
When the officers were standing at the foot of these steps. Okay? And we should know, too, the police were not called. Originally, the phone call that was made to the city of Philadelphia was for an ambulance. Correct. For an ambulance. The police responded first. And
So they called the ambulance, but somehow the police responded first.
when you have someone giving you information that's vital, isn't that the first thing you do when you're an investigator? When you're someone who's the first responder, you gather information?
He's saying that they should have gathered information, and so they should have gathered the information.
I have vital information.
They should have gathered the information that Mr. Wallace was having mental issues. Now I'm going to be honest with you, just real quick. If I'm the police and I get to somewhere, I get to a spot, and just me in my right mind, I mean, I know, there's a certain thing called suicide by cop, where people actually try to run up on the police officers, start something so they could get killed. But at the same time, you know that most people who run up on the police officers with a weapon is not in their right mind. Is not in their right mind, and I understand it's fight or flight. And in this situation, they is that flight? Is that flight? What would fight be? Run? But in that situation, I think the flight was they killed him. And so now, am I surprised that they killed him? No. Am I saying it's an unjustified shoot? No. But I definitely think that it was an excessive shoot. And so now, as far as the protesting and the rioting and things of that nature, I would hope that it is more aimed at changing the law at the excessive shooting, because I don't think anything's going to come of this. These officers aren't going to go to jail. They're not going to go to jail. If they go to jail, it'll be some type of charge to maybe just like to calm down the masses if this thing carries on beyond the next couple days or couple weeks. But far as arrest and stuff like that, it's very hard to see it because he did run at the police officers with the knife. But the existential circumstance is this: there was something wrong with him mentally, okay? And again, they did not call the police. I wonder how the police got there before the ambulance. And if the police get there and they're like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, hey, we didn't call you guys. We called the ambulance. The police should say, in my opinion, well, let's assess this and move forward from there. Because if we weren't called, maybe it's because these people already know that he has a mental issue. And so they are taking the proper procedures to preserve a life. Okay? And so to me, they took the proper procedure as far as the family, and, they tried to do what they could do. But again, you guys, everybody out there protesting and stuff, you got to watch what you're protesting, because they are going to, if you're rioting and stuff, they are going to take you to jail. They are going to spray you down with pepper spray. And what they may do is they may do the same thing that was going on during George Floyd, during some of the looting. I've been reading a lot of articles and just catching up on stuff. And what they did was they would let people do it at the time. But then they would come back like months later, like now, and they'll start arresting people based on surveillance footage. Based on surveillance footage, helicopters, this, that, the third, camera phones. People out there, somebody may just be recording just a random protest action, but catch you running up in that Foot Locker and running up out with them J's. And that might be the end of your day. But either way it go, just be vigilant in what you do and make sure that you are out there protesting for the right reasons. All right. So I would say if you're protesting at this point in time, the protest should more or less be the excessiveness that was shown to this person. Okay. Because this person is a human being, and I always say this. I say there is no compassion in the penal code. There is no compassion for the penal code. So, within the penal code. So if there is no compassion within the penal code, and we keep seeing these things happen over and over, eventually we need to start figuring out what we can do to the penal code to actually change these actions. Because as of now, I mean, let's be honest. Do any of us think that these police officers are going to go to jail, spend a day in jail, an hour, 15 minutes? Really, because what they did is, under the eyes of the law, it seems as if it would be legal, a legal shoot. What's up with you, Rick? What's going on with you, Rick? Oh man, I just looked over here. Chop shop. I hope to chop shop. What's going on with you guys? And so yeah, I think the real problem is, again, the excessiveness in the amount of times that they shot this man. And I watched a little more, and one of the reporters asked a lawyer about his wife being pregnant. Now, this is the misfortune in all of it. Well, one of the many, many misfortunes. Not only is his wife pregnant, she's going to induce labor tomorrow. So now we have a child going to come up without a father figure. And the way that his father was taken right in front of his mother, that's going to have an everlasting effect on both of their lives. That's just what I think. Now, of course, I can't predict the future. I don't know exactly what the sentiment is going to be going further with these people, but that's devastating. It's very devastating. And mental health is something that is very real. I remember after the George Floyd killing, there was a push to have, even here in Houston, there was a push to have officers either ride with or be accompanied by or arrive after mental health experts that would come and know how to handle these situations. Now, it does get slippery. Somebody's chasing you with a knife, or somebody's running up and down with a knife. Is that mental health expert going to be able to handle that situation? And my thing is, you never know. You never know. But I do think that it is in order to have these people in place. The police officers, should they have been there first? You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say they shouldn't, because he did, in fact, have a knife. But are they equipped to handle these things? I don't think so. 14 shots. 14 shots. All right. And juxtapose that to the gentleman in Minneapolis who got shot. It was Minnesota. Up in Minnesota, he got shot in the back 12 times, and he lived. All right. So what is that? That's 26 bullets between two guys. And one, they say, was reaching for a knife, and one had a knife. Damn, I mean, I know you're not supposed to bring a knife to a damn gunfight, but geez Louise. But yeah, so that's, so I just wanted to break it down so we can see what we can see, hear what we can hear, get a little bit of audio, get a little bit of visual, just so we know. And so again, it's very unfortunate, because there are going to be some people out there that said that he didn't do anything wrong. There are going to be some people out there that says the police, they didn't do anything wrong. Well, I'm going to say it lies somewhere in the middle as usual. All right. I'll show you guys one more time, just in case you get in here later, just in case you need to see it one more time, just so you can have a little more clarity. But let me give you a little bit more clarity. Walter Wallace, all right?
Yo, this shit is crazy out here.
And you know what? I don't think he wasn't moving fast enough to warrant 14 shots. He was moving fast enough to shoot him one time and to see if he kept moving. And you still got options, right? And you still got options. But it just seems like they don't think like that. And I'll be honest, and I do notice it, especially when it comes to black men. It's almost like they're getting chased by a bear, right? Like, that's the fear that I get, is the fear of a bear. a lion, a tiger, something that can rip you from limb to limb. That's what gets 14 shots. Not just a man made of flesh, blood, bones, the same thing that they are made out of. And so is this an overwhelming amount of fear? Is it something that's in the back of people, in the back of their mind? Is it a fear that they don't know that they have? Is it just the penal code? I don't know, YouTube. You guys let me know. What do you guys think it is that would possess someone to shoot someone 14 times? Now, again, I cannot sit here and act as if their lives weren't in danger to a sort. But I can say that their life was in danger to where they were helpless because, again, he had a knife and they both have guns. And so that does always lead me to wonder that when it comes to black men, and I have, let me be clear. Let me quantify it like this. I've seen white people get killed without weapons, shot excessively. And so I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen to anybody but black people, but the way that it seems, the way that it looks, the way that it feels, is it excessively happens to black people. Now, I don't know if that's just what I'm being shown, but that is the perception, and that's what I am seeing. So again, if we just take these last two high-profile guys with knives, well, one was going for a knife. That's what is being said, and this guy had a knife. Okay, he got shot 14 times. The other guy got shot 12 times. That's 26 shots between two people, all right? Now, I did a story about 2 weeks ago up in Rochester, New York, all right? Because I do believe a lot of what we are seeing in the streets is a battle of ideology. I think it's more ideology than it is race. I think we are brought into it as far as race because it's advantageous for one side, but I do think that in the back of people's mind, they do have these certain biases that are maybe not even known all the time. But I covered a story in Rochester, New York, and in Rochester, New York, again, mental illness. There was a guy, he was inside the house and he was going off, and his sister calls the police. She actually calls the police. See, these people in this case, they didn't call the police. They called the ambulance. But in this case, she called the police. And they show the police. He turns on his body cam as he's walking up the street. He's walking up the street. He gets to the door. It's a glass door. And he looks, and the guy's sister who called the police is standing at the door. The police officer says, "Where is he?" As he says, "Where is he?" the guy comes busting out the door. He says, "Move out the way." He pushes her out the way. He literally comes, jump out the door. He's running full speed at the police officer. The police officer turned around and he's running. Now, we're not talking a brisk walk. We're not talking about a long strided pace. We are talking literally running. Top speed, right? So the officer turns around and he runs away. And as the guy is gaining on him, he turns around and he shoots him. Pow once, pow twice. All right? Twice. If I'm not mistaken, it was one shot or two shots. And I wonder, well, now, of course, these are all different people, and everybody reacts differently. But I wonder in that moment, right there where you see this guy running at you, and he is literally coming at you with a knife. You guys go look it up. Rochester, New York. Does a bit of tribalism cross your mind subconsciously? He looks like me. He's one of me. I don't need to extinguish him. I just want to preserve my life. Pow, I'm going to shoot him once. Pow, I'm going to shoot him twice. Now, the guy did go on and die because, one bullet can't kill your ass. It don't necessarily take 12 or 14, right? But I'm wondering in these cases when these excessive amounts of bullets are put into somebody's temple, into their body, is it because they are not a part of your tribe? Is it the fear of the bear? Bears don't shoot other bears. And so something outside of their tribe that would fear them would. And so is it the fear of the bear? That's what I wonder about. Is there something inside these guys that say, you know what? He's not like me. One bullet won't work. Two bullets won't work. I have to empty the clip. All right. And those are some of the things that worry me. And so if you're out there protesting and doing your things like that, I think these are some of the things that we have to focus on, are, the excessiveness of it and what leads to the excessiveness of it and what should be the punishment for the excessiveness of it. See, now if you're out there and you're going to try to convince somebody that Walter Wallace didn't do anything wrong, it's not a winning argument, because it's not true. We all do know that, again, if you arrest a police officer, you're gonna get shot, more than likely. And there's people out there saying, well, why didn't he tase him? All right, and he says bears don't. Okay, I got somebody. Balance says bears don't shoot other bears. Look at Chicago Black shooting at funerals, parties, etc. All that is very true. And when I'm saying bears don't shoot at other bears, I'm not making an analogy to black people as bears to other black people. What I am saying is sometimes maybe somebody out of your tribe may resemble, and the bear's just an analogy, a bear, something that you are afraid of, in other words. And in this situation, I just wonder, when some of these police officers see black men, are they afraid? Subconsciously. I'm not saying that everybody is, I hear a lot of terms, race soldier. I hear a lot of that. Then I think, everything's not always about that. That can't always 100% of the time be true. And in this instance, again, was it a justified shoot? Yes. Was it an excessive shoot? Yes. And so what I am, again, wondering about is the excessiveness of the shoot. All right. So, yeah, you guys, I just wanted to break that down real quick, see what we can see, hear what we can hear. Balance, thanks for the comment. I appreciate that. If anybody is out there and got another comment or something like that, go ahead and drop that. And like I said, I try to take a even approach to these things, because I do realize, especially now in election season, people are going to do whatever it takes to spin things in their direction. Oh, and I was going to talk about what do I think this will do to the election, and I got something that is that crossed my mind. All right, now this happened in Pennsylvania. Now Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken, is what? A battleground state. All right, and so with Pennsylvania being a battleground state, you better make sure that all this rioting and looting do not scare your good white liberals. Because they just may not vote for what you think. They may be like, you know what, I want some law and order. Because, I agree with the rioting and looting as long as it's not in my neighborhood. All right. And so being that we are pulling up real fast on November 3rd, the optics are going to be very interesting to me. Now, can this have a negative effect on Democrats going into the election? See, it's very touchy, because often they don't want to say anything about these things. And they'll give you a blanket statement like, we need justice, but never tell you what the hell justice is, because they know that this is something that's been happening. Again, there is no compassion in the penal code. And, they really, really don't want to lose whatever little police backing they have. So it's kind of a trick bag. Now, we already know what Donald Trump is going to say. Donald Trump is going to say, well, you know what? We're going to look at this thoroughly all the way through, and we're going to see what happens. But we not taking nobody injuring no police officers. We are not going to take that. And so it's going to be a very interesting dynamic between the law and order crowd and the go ahead and burn the shit up crowd. It is going to be very interesting. But who is it going to push away, and who is it going to attract? All right. So that's something that I find very interesting in this dynamic balance. Oh, no problem. Absolutely. That's absolutely. So I'm going to find that interesting. I'm going to want to see who this affects negatively when it comes down to the polls. Get your souls to the polls. What they say, get your booty to the pole. Get your booty to the pole. Get your booty to the pole. So this is interesting. I'm going to make myself big before I make myself gone. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. You guys, don't let nobody mix you up in life. People be trying to get you mixed up. But yeah, you guys, I wanted to take a nice sober look at this and break it down for ourselves again, you guys. So I hope we did a good job. And like I said, I didn't try to put too much the parts that are my opinion, I hope that I always make clear that those are my opinion. I never want to convolute my opinion with those things that are fact that I may not know. So, in my opinion, this was an excessive shoot. But also, in my opinion, it's going to be considered a justified shoot because he did approach the police officers with the knife. And so if you're going to have a problem, the real problem should be with the amount of shots. But you can't really say nothing about the initial shooting. There were people in the video, the police officers were in the video saying, drop the knife, drop the knife. They were clearly backpedaling as somebody was coming at them, okay? And so, like I said, I think we get off wrong when we try to make it as if things that did happen didn't happen. So I would be a liar if I sit here and I said, well, you know what? He was just minding his business, hanging out in the front yard, and they just pulled up and murdered him. That is going to be the way that it is framed by a lot of people, but it's not true. And then when it comes to the police side, this guy was just running at us violently, at 100 miles a second. We didn't have anything else we could do but shoot. And so it is going to be exaggeration on both sides. So I just encourage you guys, anytime these things happen, take your own time, break it down from the beginning. Do not believe deceptive tactics like this. What a lot of people will do, they will only show you one part of it. They'll show you right before the gunshots. Pow, pow, pow. You'll hear the gunshots, and they'll frame the narrative around that. All right? So let's look at all of these things in totality. Let's figure out what's going on. And if we're going to be rioting and burning stuff up, at least make sure you're doing it for the right reason, because they are going to eventually arrest you. You did? They are going to eventually arrest you. So hey, you guys, much love, peace, respect. Like I said, as this unfolds, I'll come back and I'll open up the situation, open up the topic some more, and we'll go through it based on what it is. The amount of kids he has and stuff like that. I've seen that scroll across the screen earlier today. I don't think none of that makes a difference. If they're going to talk about his criminal history, I think all of those things are asinine when it comes to a particular situation, because this particular situation has nothing to do with his criminal history. And I'm just getting in front of these things before they do. But his mental health absolutely have something to do with it. And again, we listened to the lawyer earlier, so if you check in on this later somehow, hit the rewind button. Well, they don't have rewind buttons anymore. That's antiquated, huh? That's old. So since they don't have rewind buttons, just go back and listen to the lawyer. We let the lawyer speak. And again, if you can't hear the volume on here, I tried to reiterate what the lawyer was saying. You can find that video of the lawyer on PBS, or go on YouTube and put Walter Wallace Family Lawyer PBS. And in that, he said, one, that they never called the police, they called the ambulance. All right. And two, he says that he had a mental issue. Three, not only did he have a mental issue, the lawyer states that his wife alerted the police officers that he had a mental issue. Okay, and I think those things are important because that would change your approach. And I get it. Even somebody with a mental issue still can try to take your life. All right, and I'm not saying that wasn't the intentions of Mr. Wallace. But what I am saying is the approach should be different, especially when it comes down to the excessiveness, because that person is literally not in their right mind. Okay, and so I'm hearing people also say, well, why didn't they tase him? You know what? That's here nor there. Police officers, they're going to shoot when they feel threatened. They're going to do whatever they can to extinguish the threat. But again, I think the real problem is the overemphasis on the shots. 14 shots. And again, I don't like to do a lot of comparisons because I do think each individual incident is separate. But I cannot help to not harken back to a few weeks ago in Rochester, New York. Again, the guy came busting out like Crash Bandicoot. Had his gun, not his gun, he had his knife and everything. Police took off running like he was like about to get the baton in the relay race. He was like, he turned around, he was gone. And as the guy gained on him, he turned around, took a couple steps back, and he shot him twice. Not 14 times. And when people see stuff like that, they are going to take to the streets. All right, you guys. My name is Tyrone Irvin. This is Soapbox Heroes. I guess the rest of my what do we got here today? Do I want to say the brand? No, I don't want to say the brand, but I got some Sauvignon Blanc. I'm about to really like this behind me. I'm really about to drive through there. Take myself home. Hope you guys had a wonderful evening. I'll be back. We're going to be doing this a lot more. Got to get back on my grizzly bear. But don't shoot me like one. This is Soapbox Heroes. I'll be back.